Hey everyone, I am just setting up stuff here. I used to have different views. I guess this is what happens to you when you take a more than 1 month break from streaming. You forget where the tools were. I used to have this thing that showed me how many viewers and stuff like that. Now I can't find it. Well, there must be someone. It says 5 waiting. Okay, so I guess we can get started. I have a chat window here, but if anyone can type something in the chat. But I just assume that we're okay and some people are watching. I used to have, wait, let me just try and get this set up. Patrick, hi. Okay, we've got one person watching at least. Okay, well, I'll just assume that things are working. I can't see how many people are talking, but I can see the chat, so that's good. Okay, so welcome back. Saltcorn office hours are back, and I had a great break. Lots of traveling. Roderick, good to see you. And we're back now. So lots of work in January. Hope to show some of it off on this recent. What have we got here? Let's see, what have we got here on this instance? Yeah, this is the most recent release, so I just updated it. So hope to show some of the stuff here. So lots of work on workflows. We've got the Copilot. The Copilot has it's not done for sure. You'll see that it's still somewhat limited, but it's undergone a dramatic transformation in how it works, and ready to add. It's done in a more modular way, so we can see we can more easily add new capabilities, and it works a little bit better. And then lots and lots of work on the workflows. Let's see, do I have any I can show here? I have workflows. So first of all, the workflows are integrated with the Copilot here. We may go away from that. I don't know if we need that. I guess this is what we had on the last office hours. So just all around, a lot of tidying up of the user flow, a lot of bugs. A lot of bugs have been fixed. Just as a reminder, this version is still a development release, and people are still finding bugs in these workflows. So I wouldn't recommend it if you need absolute stability. I would probably recommend trying this out, and you can develop while we're fixing bugs, and maybe as you develop, you can report some of those bugs, and we can fix them so that by the time you're done with your application, we're also done with a version that's stable and has a good support and very reliable workflows. I'd say we are planning to release this this spring. In fact, so the next release is going to be Saltcorn 1.2, which I'm hoping to have it done, maybe before Easter. And so all of the most important new features for that release are done and have been released and are in the most recent releases. So from here on, two things that we're working on. One is just upgrading a lot of the dependencies. A lot of the libraries that we use, this is something we sort of neglected before 1.0 because it can be very disrupted. Hey, Ange. So we're doing it now. So there was a sort of a period of stability. In fact, let me just show you one of the things that we did that would put this into context. So, here we have, Happy New Year to everyone. Great to hear from you. So you now have a new link here that says what's new. I think this is somebody brought this up on these office hours and said, can we see, how do we know what's new, right? So I've just upgraded. How do I know what's changed? I think in general this is a big problem. This is now fixed for, what are the new features in core Saltcorn. Something else along the same lines that I'd love to work on is, when you've just installed a plugin, a module, you've just installed something from the module store, then how do you know what that provides you? And I think we do a little bit of that, but we don't do it well enough. But at least in terms of what's new, we now have here a list of what's been released. So we don't do it for every point release. We're running here beta 7, but we just do it here for for the major releases. So you can see the major points. And there are other changes. I'm not going to put in every fix here. We do have a fixes section down here. So these are the medium-sized fixes. Small fixes we don't put, and especially not fixes for issues that have arisen even within that same release. So we haven't put all of those. But this is, maybe fixes for releases that go back and pertain to earlier releases. So these are the fixes here in 1.1.1 for issues that came up earlier. And then we have, the major new changes. So you can see here we have some, I'm going to go through some of these here, right? Oh, and by the way, let me just remind you, you are welcome to ask questions here. That's kind of like the point. Otherwise, this is a bit of a monologue. So please keep on asking questions in the chat. I'm just talking here when talking about new things that we've developed until I get some good questions, and then I'll go ahead and address those. Otherwise, I have a bunch of stuff I want to show you. So I'm going to show you the Copilot, and also I'm hoping to show some animations. Okay, so but here you got this. This is what's new, right? So we've got these are the changes. So you can see a lot of stuff on workflow, some stuff on Builder, and various things. So that's actually one of the major things, is that we have this new changelog, and I think it's super helpful. Okay, so where was I? So let's talk about some of those things. We were on the workflows. Yeah. So just things work just a little bit more smoothly. So for instance, if I want to insert a step here between these two steps, I just say like insert here. And I can set do a step here, and it jumps down. But so now that has been inserted in between these two steps here. So that's kind of nice. And I think if I delete it again, it sort of joins up nicely. So we didn't have that before. So that works much better. And we have tons of other stuff. We have new step types. Let's see, something that's really cool that was suggested on GitHub that I didn't even think about by Ingenuity was this one. This seems to be jumping a bit. Yeah, this step type. I guess we don't have any on this app. I guess we don't have any. We don't really have any views. I guess I didn't do very much. This was the one that I created last time. So let's create an edit view. Let's create a table. We have a table here, persons, and let's just create an edit view on that. So here we go. Is that all right? Did that save? Yeah. And so now I can, if I reload this and choose error view form, then that view will actually be run in a step, and whatever I am doing, whatever data I enter into the fields will be put here in some variable in the context. So let's see, person. Okay, so I actually want to show this. I think I added this at the bottom. So let's not do that. So let's do this instead in step 1. Oh yeah, I need to enter something here. Person. Okay. And delete that. And this is now not, that doesn't seem yet to remove itself from the previous step, so I need to do that. So what is the next step here? Need to be cleared. And so now if I run this, so we get now that form, right? And that form I can lay out however I want to. And if I, here I'm somewhat constrained by being in the pop-up modal. But if I run this in a workflow room or in some other way, then I get the full width. And I can lay this out however I want to. So this is very powerful. So in a workflow, when you're requesting information from the user, you can now, with a very flexible form, get information back. And you can also, so this does something sort of special. It will, put those variables. I don't know why I can't type here. I can't type here. Oh, that's probably something gone wrong. The whole thing seemed to have. My browser has crashed. Great. There's another step type that allows you to do the same with a view where you're showing some output. And again, here you can choose any view and some subset of your data, and that comes up on in the room where you're running the workflow, or in a pop-up modal if you're just running it from a button or from this test run. So a lot of new steps here that are really really have increased what we can do with the workflows, and that was the promise, was to that we could do things that were much more powerful. So I'd say probably the major aspects of the workflows have now been finished development, but of course there's still polish, and there's still reliability, and still some tweaks to the interface when people find that they can't really do, for some small reason they can't do something that they want to do. Of course those still need to be addressed, and so that is what we are hoping for in 1.2. I will say, for me, the goals for that 1.2 were first of all to get these workflows in. Second, it was to rebuild the Copilot and lay the foundation for some much more powerful AI tool for building apps. And the third was to improve the landing pages that we can do. I think we still have a little bit of work left in the landing pages, but I'll show you some new things that we can do here. And then, if anyone has any suggestions or want to build some kind of better landing page, but you can't because of some missing setting, please let me know, and we can talk about what we can do about that. So let's move on to the Copilot, because that was what I promised. Okay, so previously we had, I think, 2 or 3 different Copilots. There was a Copilot for view, for tables, and there was one for generating actions. And you sort of, I guess I can't really show it now because it's gone. But the way it worked was you just enter a prompt. You just describe what you wanted, and then it would build that for you, right? So you didn't really sort of work together. You didn't really collaborate with the Copilot, and in the same way that you do with Well, apparently, I'd say probably the best sort of Copilot tools. You have a continuous chat where you can work with the tool. So that's what I've been working on here. So we now have something that is much more like a chat, and you continuously chat. So you ask for something, and you can get sometimes it will just answer you, right? So I can just do all the things that people love about GPT, Chat GPT, right? I can say like, what is the capital of France? And then it will just sort of answer. So I did a design. I kept it very minimal, and so you have here your previous chats. And here you have the current chat, so it's one after another. So this is you, and this is the Copilot. First I wanted to get some pictures. When you see the signs of this, you always see like people have pictures. But the reality is that people never really upload their avatar pictures. So I just did this you and Copilot, and then we have a thin line here that separates. So then you can see what's being built. So you can do all the responses, and here I can ask, GPT. Or whatever underlying model you have, right? So remember, to get this working, you have to have the large language model installed, and you have to have some kind of API token in there. So you have, an OpenAI. You can get an OpenAI token, or you can do some other kind of, we have Olama, we have OpenAI compatible, which are not every service that promises to be OpenAI compatible is really compatible. So that's, we have to tweak some of those. And more stuff is coming here. So we've got a couple of more APIs in the pipeline here. And then after you've installed the large language model, then you install the Copilot module, and then you just go to the views here, and then you will just have this Saltcorn Copilot, right? So you will just be able to run it. And then you see this, right? So you've got your previous sessions. I can go back to a previous session. I can start a new one. I thought actually I thought I updated some of this. I thought this button looked different. It's not very important, but maybe this isn't quite the latest version. But that's fine because it's got all the major actions. So I can go back to my previous chats here, and I've got all that, right? So that works fine. Okay, so now it's all good asking what the capital of France is, right? That's good, but that's not what we're here for. So, but now I can keep on chatting within that chat, and it's not. I have full reference, so I can say like, where is that, right? So I can refer to previous things in the chat. So it knows, it has this true chat history that I just showed previously that we had with workflows. So great. So now let's start building something. Okay. So now I can say like what I want, right? So currently in the Copilot, you have 3 different things you can generate. So these you don't click on, these are just sort of things that I'm telling you in this line what the Copilot can do, right? These are currently the skills that it has. So it can generate tables, JavaScript actions, and workflows. So this is where, there's going to be much more here. I want to add much more stuff here. And I want to ask you as well. What do you want in here? What do you want the Copilot to be able to do? What kind of skills should we give it? So let's, I always think the one that's really fun is the one where you design databases. So now because now you can just sit down and think about a business, and it actually works surprisingly well, most of the time. So let's say build. You don't have to use exactly these words, right? So you just describe it in natural language. You don't have to say generate. You can say build or something else, but you roughly have to say something that aligns with one of these skills here. I want to try something else, by the way. In a second, I want to try something I haven't tried with this Copilot. But let me just demonstrate the basic skills here. So build database tables. That sort of makes it pretty unambiguous. For a company that cleans pizza ovens in pizzerias. Okay, did I spell that right? Maybe I think I did. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it does. Okay, so now it goes off and builds my, so it builds a suggestion for the database, right? So I don't think this is quite right, actually. I don't know why it has table here. Why does it have table here? This isn't quite right. So I don't like this, right? But it hasn't done it yet. So these tables have not been built. There's nothing here. So why is this? This seems to be like a pizzeria. This is a table that is empty, probably. It probably only has the pizzeria. Yeah, for some reason this is not linked. So let's try. Can I correct that? I don't really know how to do that. Okay, so pizzeria ID. So now I can make comments, but I'm not really sure. Oven cleanings table should have a key to the pizzeria. Also, let's say that they have different pizzerias have different types of ovens. Generate a table for the type of oven and the pizzeria should have a key to the type of pizza oven table. So let's see what's going on here. So now I've sort of given it instructions. Okay, so I still don't know why it's doing this. It's kind of interesting. I should really look at this. I mean, you know, as I'm developing this, you know, sometimes you need to give. You see that the LLM is not given a good enough prompt, and it's generating something that's a little bit nonsensical. So I think I don't know what's going on here with this table, but I think this it will probably not work. But you can see at least as a sort of demonstration of concept here, right? So we've got, it has now, it's you know, going back to what it did before, added a new table, and key oven type ID. I don't know why this is not linking to this, but let's see. It will probably give me an error, but let's try and apply it. So nothing yet has happened, right? I still don't have those tables, but the idea is then you basically press apply, and then it will go off and generate those tables for you. So let's try that. Yeah, so this is table. I don't know why it's what it's doing here. So, you know, let's just try again. I could do a new one. Generate database tables for a bicycle rental company. So let's see if this is, sometimes, you know, look, sometimes they just generate something that's not right, and you just have to try again, right? Let's see if this is still, yeah, it's still doing this. So maybe I made a mistake somewhere. You can see it's sort of doing something sensible, but it's also doing something weird here. I don't know what's going on. I guess I need to fix that. Let's look at one of the other ones, right? So generate workflows is actually one of the ones that I'm most excited about. So this allows you to generate the steps in a workflow, and then you can then implement that and apply that and create a real workflow. So let's just do that. Build a workflow that asks the user for their name and outputs that in uppercase. Let's see if it works. I'm not sure if it'll be able to do that. Let's try it. Okay, so that's probably okay. Unfortunately, I can't see here what the steps are. I can't click on these, even though it tells me that I can. I think if I click, then nothing happens, and also these. So, you know, we've still got a little bit of work to do here, but this sort of looks like the kind of workflow that I'll expect. Then we just click apply, and then here it says it's now apply. Oh, sorry, you can't see this because of my window. So I clicked apply and then configure workflow. Then this came up, and now I can go to it and I can see what it did. So it asks, please enter your name. Username is in the variable, and then output username to uppercase. So I think this works. I think this is good. Tom. Your name in uppercase is Tom. Great. So that was just from that description, right? Now, you know, can it do things that are more complicated? Yes, it can do some things that are a little bit more complicated. Can it do things that are super complicated? And like if you give super vague instructions, can it do it? Probably not, right? So I'd say this is if you're if you don't quite know what this whole new workflow thing is, and if you don't know how to create steps and you don't know what the elementary step types are, but you know what you want to do, then give this a try. Do a simple version of what you want to do, like do maybe a small aspect of the workflow, and then ask the Copilot to generate that, and then you can see if you know, you can see what it generates and what those steps would be like. You can try running that small aspect of the workflow, and if that works, then great. You know, if the main point is actually to help you to you know, maybe gain a little bit of confidence in building these steps manually, then I think that's a great place to get started. The other thing we can do is generate JavaScript actions. So, you know, code action to get all rows from the persons table. Maybe I need to do JavaScript. And delete them. So here it's now, hopefully, yeah, so it's generating some code. And again, here it's showing us what it's proposing. So you can't really, it's not really visible. I'm going to change the visuals a little bit. But this is meant to be in a card. I think I'm going to make that card slightly gray so you can see it stands out from the background. And then it's showing the code here. So let's see what it says. This is what it's proposing. Get the person table. So it actually knows, it sort of knows what tables we have. Yeah, that's right. It's called persons. And then get rows. Yes. And this is right. All of this is right. I think this should run. So again, we can click apply. And then it creates the action. And then you can go to it here. And there we go. That's it. Patrick is saying it's helpful to generate test data. Should we try it? Let's see. I'm going to copy from Patrick's comments here. These are very helpful, these sort of steps here. Let's do a new one. Please create a workflow which inserts 5 sets of example data to the persons table. So again here, I haven't said anything about what the persons table is like, but it sort of knows, right? It's part of the prompt, the system prompt. This is what tables we have. So let's see here what it does. Huh. Saying error, missing next step. But let's just generate it. Okay, insert data, set context. Yeah, it's creating the example data with the right field names, but it's not inserting in the database. Should try again. Let's just try again. Okay, this looks better. Now I know insert example data to persons. Let's see, do we already have that? Insert, okay, so we can just generate that because it doesn't conflict with the name. Okay, let's see. So we are generating the example data. Yeah, it's generating some example data. That's good. Then it loops over the data. I can't remember if we had this last time. We had for loops. We have for loops in workflows now. Insert person. And inserts this into the persons table. Person dot. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. And loop stop. This is actually not right. So I'm just going to delete this step. Because this stops. Stop will terminate the workflow altogether. Even if you're inside a loop. But maybe it doesn't really know that. Okay, so let's try and run it. So wait, what do we have here? Persons table, we have 0 rows. Let's try and run this. Okay. I only have 1. Oops. What happened? There we go. No. Ah, wait. Oh, that's because it probably ended in an error. Let's see if that was that right. Was that an error? Oh, sorry, not the event log. Yes, that ended in an error because I forgot to, after I deleted that step. So I still need to do this. So I need to. I'll change it. So if you delete a step, then it changes the previous step to not have anything. So let's just say, so that will need to stop. Okay. Okay, so we have run this. And where is my table? Okay, I now have 6 rows in here. Okay, great. So that's what I expected, because the first one came from the first workflow run, which ended in an error. Okay, so look, that's the sort of stuff we can do. Look, I think we've seen a couple of issues here, right? So that I'm going to see if I can tweak the prompts a little bit, and or is there some error in the way it's communicating with the LLM? But that is sort of roughly what the new Copilot looks like, and so hopefully we'll make those skills work a little bit better, and also add more skills. I'll tell you what, some ideas that I have. I know other people have sent me ideas, and some of these are from them. So one thing we would like is just that you can ask questions. So this is what I was going to try with you, actually. So let's see. I wanted to see what happens if I ask a question that is sort of relevant to the information that I've given it. So what are the tables existing in this installation, in this application? what are the database tables? So I haven't actually tried this. So the question is, can I just ask questions, but specific questions about my installation? So I know what the answer is. Okay. All right. So now there's a lot of. Okay. So a couple of issues here. It's not treating this as Markdown. I should do that. But it is making. So I guess I created some of those tables from the oven cleaning from the pizzeria example. So it is saying what those fields are, and then it's got the persons table with the fields. So this should be Markdown. It'll look nicer if it's Markdown, if it's like rendered to HTML from Markdown. But I think this is nice actually. So you can ask it questions. Can we ask like, what is Saltcorn? Of course, now I don't know if GPT may know that already. I don't know if. I wonder if what happens if we go to ChatGPT and ask that. So what if I do like, can the Copilot generate tables? Okay, users can specify the structure of the table, so this is nice. It's good. Okay, so look, this I'm doing this because one of the things I like is also that this can answer questions that you have. So if you not just build for you, that's nice, right? Being able to build that's super nice. That's probably the main purpose. But also just if you ask like, how do I? Okay, I'll try that in a second. Yeah, so Roderick is saying, can you try some RAG type questions? That's exactly what I mean, right? So there's no RAG here in the Copilot, but this is this would be nice if you can ask questions. I wasn't actually thinking about the data in your database. That would be super nice. I was more thinking about just questions about, what if I want to build, a many-to-many really. I'm getting a lot of questions about many-to-many relationships for the moment because it's not entirely intuitive how to do that in Saltcorn. If you say like, what's the best way to add, a certain user interface component to handle many-to-many relationships. So those sorts of questions would be nice if I can do this. Let's see. Are there any keys between pizzeria and persons table? No, there are no foreign key relationships or direct keys between pizzerias or persons table in the current database schema. It's nice. I was actually quite happy with that. These are probably the only questions that I've asked today that were answered flawlessly. So, Nome, hey, good to see you. I think it would be really nice if we can do database management via prompt AI agents. Yes, definitely. So that's okay. So I'll tell you what some of the ideas are here. We're getting a lot of ideas here. So we'd like to do questions, right? So even like better questions about what you can do with Saltcorn. Can we do stuff like right now you can generate tables, but you can't really alter existing tables. You can only do that if you're inside a prompt, like we did with the pizzeria, and we asked for something slightly different. Then you can ask for it to change. But if I'm in a new prompt and I have this database structure for pizzeria or bicycle rental company or whatever, I can't say, okay, on my existing table, can you add a key between this? Can you add a field for the age of this person or something like that? So just that's quite different, just implemented in a very different way. The way, you go from the LLM generating some data and then you have to interpret that and action it on the database. So being able to change your database tables, that would be really nice. And one more thing is, being able to generate views. That's always been the big, okay, that views is one thing, but the other thing is landing pages, right? So so can I go in and say at different levels, right? I think first of all, can it just generate some view scaffolding? So can it generate like some basic views, lists, edit, shows, feeds on maybe not one table at a time, but a small group of tables. If you have some related tables like your pizzeria and pizza cleaning example, can you go in and say like just okay, generate some basic views for me that this you can say what filters you want and stuff like that. I think that would be really nice to be able to do that, and that would save so much time. I remember I did this hackathon, and like half my time was just generating list views and edit views, and you all know this, right? That when you're first getting started, it takes a fair amount of time, and it's almost like boilerplate work. You have to first generate the list, and then you have to generate the edit, and then you have to go back and tie the list and the edit together. And getting all that done for you automatically would be nice. And then also, we know that LLMs are really good at generating HTML. So, can we just make it generate some landing pages for us and some, just some HTML? And so that's one thing. The other thing is like if you have a specific view that you want to build, like a form or a show or something like that, can we again like on a really fine-grained layout level, can we say like, okay, I want a 2-column edit view with such and such fields, and then it should when you submit it should save this in such a way or something like that. That would be really nice to so those are sort of the capabilities. And any kind of like data management, I think super interesting. Also generating dashboards would be really interesting. So lots of possibilities there. And some of those possibilities are going to happen over the next couple of months. Okay. So I think I've talked enough about Copilot, and we're kind of like running out of time, and I'm running out of voice. So I just want to show you some other things that we've done. What is this? My page? Did I build this? Yeah, no. Let's build a new page. So I want to show you some of these animations, which hopefully I can get to work. Okay, so first I'm gonna do a big container. That would be something like width 800. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna do full screen width, but I'll do a height 600. Contents. I never really know if this work. Let's see if this works. And then I did an image. Upload an image. I downloaded one just before. Yeah. All right. So let's see what that looks like. So we get started. Yeah. Okay. That's all right. That will do the trick. So I have my view here, and now I want to do some columns below that. Just want to make sure. Columns. That image never went into the container. What? Container. Okay, so container here. Why is that? Wait. Does this need to? Wait. What does this look like? Yeah, I think this full screen width doesn't work very well with this this theme. I think it actually works only with any Bootstrap theme, which is usually what I use for landing page type things. So I think I need to go back and do that. So look at some of that. Okay, so now here we go. So we just don't do the full page width, which doesn't work very well with Tabler. Okay, so now here at the bottom, I'm going to put some stuff. Okay, I'm going to put 2 pieces. Oh no, actually I should have put containers in there. There's a bit of a pain. Let me just make this. I'm going to make this not quite so tall to begin with, otherwise it'll be a real pain. Okay, and I'm going to put some containers in those. And I'm going to drop those text inside the containers. And actually what I really, oh yeah, that's right. What I really want is not text, but I want an icon. Just the brand ones. Okay. And we'll do a H1. Let's not do that. Let's just set the font size 60. And here I want to do another icon. So I'm just going to put some icons below an image, and then I'm going to animate the icons so you can see what it looks like. Okay, great. And font size 60. Okay, so what does this look like? Let's just get rid of all of this. Okay. Not entirely happy with this image here. I haven't done this for some time. I need to look at how, you know, that's expanding. But in any case, let's now make this, go back to making this container. So I want to get sort of the effect of a landing page where you have Okay, so now we've got some icons below an image, and now I'm going to animate stuff. So you choose animations here. You go into the container. You have to be in a container, and you choose animation settings. And now you can do, like, you know, whatever, fade in. And now the key thing here is you set a time, and then you set a duration. A delay, duration and delay. So what I can do is I can animate. Often you get some quite nice effects when you just do one after another. So I'm gonna set this to 1 second, and then the other one I'll do fade in, same duration, and 2 seconds. Okay, so now if I load, then they come one after another. Let's do this one, and zero. So key thing is these animations are only triggered when I scroll into view. So if I scroll back, then they're already there. They just stay there. So if I reload here, then you know, they pop up one after another. I know that there are people here who are much better at making things look good than I am. Okay, let's make some marginal efforts here. How can I do? What if I do this? Do they go? What did I do here? Column 2. Okay, do they go in the middle? No, they don't go in the middle. I think here I need to set the contents as well to be okay. So we're getting a little bit closer, right? As I scroll into view. So I think that one is too fast. I think you have to have a delay here for it to be noticeable. And then this one, yeah, we can just leave that. The other thing is there's a setting here. 'Cause you see, I want to show you something. So if you do a reload here, they actually, sometimes you see it flash. I saw it just before. I don't know if you see it on the video, but sometimes they actually, as you go to this page, you see them. It's not so much a problem. It's only a problem if they're on the top. Let's do that. Let's move them here. So if they're on the top, sometimes you see it. Yeah, I definitely saw it there. I don't know if you guys see it on the video, but if I go to this, I see a flash of them and then they come in. So then to get that, there's an option here. There should be an option. Initially hidden. Yeah. So I can't remember what I did to make them initially hidden, but it's starting to look okay. This is the sort of stuff people do, right? And so look, you can play with this, and you can put whatever you want in these containers, right? It's the whole container that's animated. So you can put an image in there, and you can get one after another. So people just do these little things to just spice up a landing page a little bit. I haven't really done very much about using these animations in a user interface. I know that people have asked for that, and I think it will happen. I think I'll do a little action where you apply an animation to an element, so that if you can make something animate in and out as to appear slowly, disappear slowly. So you can make if you have some container that you want to hide, then you just apply the animation like that in an action that you can run from a workflow or something like that. I think there's a lot of fun things I think we can do with that. Okay, last thing. So please do experiment. I think this was after the initial sort of setting it up. It was this should be pretty solid. There shouldn't be any gotchas like me trying to place this image in the container is clearly not working well. But these animations should be fairly solid. Have a play with. I don't even know what these do. Oh yeah, they fly in. It's kind of fun. And oops. What else can we do? I think we had some other effects. I'll let you guys play with it. There's all these so we built these basic ones, and I think we'll do some mechanism as well for if you want custom. If you want to write your own animations, custom animations, you just have to write CSS keyframes. Okay. Richard, any chance the HTML video player can be upgraded so it can be expanded with a container and not a static size? Yeah, I can have a look at that. In fact, I need to do a project with that. So we have this signage system. I need to write a little blog post about it. We have a digital signage system, which is Raspberry Pis linked to a Saltcorn website that's running a slideshow. And then there's a admin backend, and that's up and running now. So you can go in London and look at Saltcorn running on Raspberry Pis. And we want videos as there as well. Mike, you talked before about adding more icons. Has that been done? Yes, in principle. So now plugins can supply icons. I just haven't written any of those plugins that supply icons. So I need to do that as the kind of little boring thing that I need to do. I will remember to do that because there was no point in writing the facility for plugins to provide icons if there are no plugins to provide icons. I did one for Unicode icons, but I can't remember if it's on the module store or not. Let me do that. Okay, last thing I want to show is just a little usability improvement in the builder. If we get rid of, let's get rid of all this stuff. So if we do, where is it? Oh, in tabs. So if you have tabs here, then previously we had that these were, you basically just had 1 and 2 is however many tabs you had, and then it had a little number here that said how many tabs, and you could basically just change the number of tabs and then you could go through them. So that meant that you couldn't move one tab sideways, so you couldn't, if you had something that was tab 2, you couldn't swap it with tab 3, and also you you could only add to the end, and you couldn't delete a tab in the middle. So now we have a little, actually on this version it's not looking great, so I just did an upgrade where it looks a little bit better, which this version hasn't seen. But you now get these controls here. So you have 2 tabs to start with, then I can just add, I can set my 3rd tab. And now I can, move that. So if I press this one, then I move it sideways, so then it swaps with 1 and 2. This is sort of thing, like, after we've done it, I have no idea how people actually survived without having this, because it's obviously extremely useful. So we didn't have this before. I can also delete. I can delete the tab here. So now I only have these 2 tabs, and move these around. So just tiny little improvement to your quality of life if you're building, and sort of just if you want to rearrange the tabs, it's nice. And that is in one other. Where is it? It's not in columns. I want to put it in columns, but it's in one of the other. Oh, in actions. That's right. So if you have an action, if you have a multi-step action, you get the same thing. So now so this is actually where it's really useful. Mike, I will answer that in a second. So you have a code step here, and now, here you have another step, which is, whatever, webhook, whatever. Then, if I wanted to do, okay, actually I wanted to do the webhook after the code flow, then, I just move them around here, and then you change the order like that. All right, so very useful again, because you have a lot of configuration steps sometimes in these actions, and this way we can just move them about, rearrange the order essentially. Mike, any chance of having tabs where the title is settable from JavaScript? Interesting. Let me just, can you, in tabs, if you have a view of a person, if I have a view on show person, I mean, Mike, so the answer is actually no, not right now. It sounds like the thing that's not terribly difficult to set. But if I have tabs, I'm just wondering if I can do the title here. Can I do name here? Sorry, just hang on a second. Okay, so if I do show person here, and we need an ID. Okay, yeah, so you can set, using these interpolations, these double curly braces, whatever they're called, you can set the title of the tab from, not from JavaScript, but from the data in your row. Okay, now let's see what these look like. I mean, if you want to set it in JavaScript, you can just do good old jQuery. Unfortunately, this tab looks like it's, yeah, look, you would have to do some jQuery basically, or some, not jQuery, but whatever you want to do, you would have to do. So I imagine you want an action, right? And then you would do run code, and you'd want to run this client page, and now you want to find your title, right, which is, I mean, here it's this, but I don't know if is that random? Yeah, I think this is random. I think this was tab 1B. Yeah, this is random every time, so we can't rely on that. But if you go like, I think this is random as well. But you basically do like something like ul nav tabs. Okay, let's do this. let's do this. And then I have one more question, and then I'm going to call it a day. Okay, ul.nav tabs. Yeah, this is just your basic jQuery, right? So now you need to do first child. I can't remember. How do you do this? Nth. I can't remember the syntax. Something like this. And I can't remember if it starts with a 0 or not. Maybe it starts with a 0. .html. We changed the tab title. All right, let's try this. No, that didn't work. Do I get an error message? No, I didn't get an error message. It's just, this is like annoying about jQuery is when you when you make a mistake, it just keeps on going. It doesn't tell you what you did wrong. Ah, by the way, anyways, I should probably do an A here. But sorry, you can't see this. Okay, I'll do one last effort at trying to figure out why my jQuery is not right. So I got ul.navtabs, ul.navtabs, yeah, and then li. So I think what I've done wrong is this nth child. Let me just do a quick children.first. Okay, I'm just Googling this. All right, this is my last attempt. Find a, okay, and I can get rid of this. Okay, let's try this. Is this right? Okay, let's try this. Yeah, there we go. That worked. Okay, so you can do stuff like that, right? It's not very pleasant, but I hope you know, this is how you can do it, essentially. I mean, look, if you have a super good use case for this and you think this is very, very important and you know, opens up a bunch of stuff, then you can do this, and you know, if you feel this is a very common use case, then you know, we can add an action for this or something like that. Okay, what are people saying? We had okay, Patrick said more than 9 tabs. Patrick is laughing at me because we had a case where this didn't work if you had more than 9 tabs. Let's see. That works, but actually I think what didn't work was if you saved it. Okay, so this is what I know didn't work. And then if you reloaded it, and now if you did, now it works. I fixed it. I just didn't know if this version had it released. So yes, you can now have more than 9 tabs. You can have as many tabs as you want to, as of yesterday. Okay, Alex, I have a question. Can I do calculation between cells in different tables and have the result in a view? I mean, that's a slightly vague question, but yes is the answer. Okay, let's do an example. So I'll show you how. So you want different tables. So the tables have to be related somehow. Well, either they have to be related, or you have to write some sort of workflow, right? You write a workflow that gets the cells in different tables and you know, does the calculation, whatever you want to do, and then insert them in another table. That's what you do. The other way, so that's if they're not totally unrelated, but then you have to do some work to dig them out. Now, let's say we have some related tables, right? So what can I do? Let's add a field. let's say this is actually the employer. So let's say these persons are actually the pizzerias. So pizzeria name. Right, and now I can do calculations if they're related. I mean, there are many ways of doing something that comes under what you're asking. I'll just show you one way. You can add a calculated field. And if you want to refer to rows on a different table by some relationship, a foreign key, then you have to have a stored calculated field. So it has to be stored in a row. Okay, so let's say, what do we want to do? I want to, let's see, I didn't actually look so much at what, we don't have any data in the pizzeria table, right? Phone number is string. Okay, let's do a simple calculation, which is simply the uppercase I'll just do pizzeria. We'll do it in uppercase because I'm going to make it uppercase. So now you can refer to the rows on the related table and employer dot. So what was it? Was it name? Was it just name? No, it was pizzeria name. Oh, it is name. Okay, and now I want to make this to uppercase. Now, a couple of things. It's good to put in some question marks here because they're not always filled in. So if it didn't do this, right? If we don't do the question marks, then it's going to crash. So here I get an error message because there's no employer set for these. Okay. So now it's undefined. I don't have any, I can't. Oh, did I messed this up, didn't I? I messed this up big time. I made this a key. I shouldn't have. So when you do a stored field, you still have to think about what the field type is. So it's a string, and it's calculated, and it's stored. Okay, so let's do this. Employer dot name dot to uppercase. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so now we have this pizzeria name, but I don't have any pizzerias. So I'll do one here. We have one at the end of the garden called Basilico. And this is somewhere in London. Okay, did I manage to add that correctly? Okay. There's probably only one L. Doesn't matter. And now I'm going to go and set one of these people to have an employer. Okay, and now this uppercase name should have been filled out. Yes. So this is now uppercase. And sorry, this is not very cooperative. I don't really like this. I think it has some settings. This library has some settings that can do better, right? So in a certain sense, we have now calculated from a related row. And of course, you can now, as you asked, can you show this, right? So this is basically how you do that. This is one way. Look, many other ways you can do calculations from other tables. If I would say, if you can't do this trick, then probably the best way is to create a workflow, do the calculation, and insert it in some table. And then you have a view over that, like a show or something like that. Okay, I hope that helped. If not, just write me on Twitter or something like that, and I can clarify. If you have a specific type of calculation, you have a specific, relationship between these tables. There's also aggregations and all sorts of stuff that you could do. Okay, I think I'm about done. It's the end of the week. I hope you learned something. I certainly learned that I need to go and fix a couple of things on the Copilot, and maybe we'll do this again in 2 weeks, maybe in the morning. My time. So have a good weekend, and thank you everyone for showing up.